Welcome to Tiny Pep Talks for Step Parents, a short weekly podcast with new episodes every Sunday. For today's pep talk, blending in high conflict. Step parenting in the aftermath of your partner's high conflict divorce requires a completely different approach. It took us years to figure out that the typical, sensible co-parenting advice didn't apply to us. Those resources that are all, put the kids first, compromise more, get along for the sake of the kids, assumes that both co-parents are emotionally mature adults who are capable of putting their personal differences aside in the interest of raising shared children together. Unfortunately, that is not always the case. So it should come as no surprise that when you're step-parenting a kid who's caught in the middle of that mess, the typical sensible step-parenting advice doesn't apply either. Vanilla platitudes like, just show an interest in their interests, give them more one-on-one time with their parent, let them know you love them, and they'll just come around, could not be less helpful when you are step-parenting in high conflict. It took me years to figure that out too. I kept thinking I was doing something really wrong, that my stepdaughter so consistently wanted nothing to do with me. I kept reading books and articles that all said the same superficial stuff and thinking, well, maybe I'm not showing enough interest in her interests. I guess I just need to try harder. And then I'd wade back in again. My stepdaughter would reject me again. I'd retreat and blame myself and get a bunch more inaccurate advice on what I was supposedly doing wrong. This cycle repeated for years. What I didn't understand then was that step-parenting a child of high conflict divorce requires a completely different approach. All of the step-parenting advice, much like all the co-parenting advice, is based on the idea that these kids sailed through their parents' breakup like it was no big deal. Normal step-parenting advice assumes that our stepkids' parents are amicably co-parenting and that neither parent is dysfunctional, unstable, or unsafe. Step-parenting a child of trauma is very, very different, and creating a family in those dynamics is also very, very different. As little help as there is out there for how to blend a family, there's even less for how to blend when there's a ton of conflict between houses. Living in such a toxic, reactive situation can significantly impact your relationship with your partner, as well as your ability to connect with your stepkids, not to mention your own mental health. When I talk about wanting to help step-parents get out of the blender, this is the exact blender to which I am referring. I so desperately wish I had a magic button that would launch you right out of this nonsense, but I don't. I do, however, have a whole workshop about this exact topic that you might want to watch. It is included as a perk for our paid Substack subscribers. I'll link it right in the show notes for you. If you're attempting to step parent in a situation where your partner's ex is high conflict, the best advice I can give you is 2 tips. Number 1, learn as much as you can about all this crap. And number 2, but never, never, ever at the expense of keeping your own oxygen mask on first. You have got to pace yourself or you will burn out very, very quickly. So learn as much as you can about all this god-awful shit, even if you're not sure whether the term high conflict applies to your situation. And then, if any of the signs or symptoms or dynamics hit close to home, take a step back and rethink how you're approaching blending your family. Abused stepkids do not respond emotionally like non-abused stepkids. Alienated stepkids do not respond emotionally like non-alienated stepkids. So we cannot parent or step-parent abused or alienated kids and stepkids the way our instincts tell us that we should. Additionally, don't forget that your partner probably did not escape their relationship with this toxic person unscathed, so they might not respond emotionally the way we would expect either. If all this sounds like a lot of pressure piled precariously onto a very steep learning curve, you're not wrong, but you're also not alone. This chapter of your life will not last forever. At some point, the clouds will part and the sun will shine again. In the meantime, please do not hesitate to reach out if you need some extra help and support along the way. That's exactly why this community exists. If you're listening to this by podcast, please check the show notes for a link to the full transcript over on Substack, along with many other resources on this topic. We would love to see you over there.